With the official announcement of Jurassic World Evolution 3's Wetlands Pack arriving alongside Update 1.2 on December 9th, we know that the Brazilian Spinosaurid Irritator is part of the pack, sporting a beautiful design with many paleontologically accurate features, such as a large paddle tail, webbed feet, even the fourth toe being lower and in line with the rest of the toes on its feet. It also sports lips, a theory that has been widely accepted for many theropods, though Spinosaurids have had some contention with this theory, with some paleontologists arguing the exposed interlocking teeth would be better for catching fish and would behave similar to how crocodiles use their tooth structure to better catch fish, those interlocking teeth acting like a trap, trapping the fish inside their jaws. And other paleontologists being on the side that almost all carnivorous theropods had lips, including the Spinosaurids, regardless of what they ate. As we do see in the modern day, reptiles that do possess lips, such as Asian water monitors and cottonmouth vipers, that are fully capable of catching fish do possess lips and can do it just fine without exposed interlocking teeth. But we'll see where that evidence drives the theory. But Irritator is not the only species in this pack. There are two more species that have yet to be revealed, and so we are going to speculate on what they could be. Now, some creators have specifically labelled them as dinosaurs, so these creators have learned the news early. So whether they are dinosaurs, it remains to be seen. But this could also be a mislead, and a non-dinosaur could be part of the DLC. So we'll also speculate some of those as well for this pack. The first species I'll propose is one that many who have researched wetland dinosaurs is bound to be familiar with, that being Ostroraptor, a giant dromaeosaur from the Maastrichtian stage of the late Cretaceous in Argentina. This is one of the most popularly requested species for the game, and with this being a Wetlands DLC and Ostroraptor being thought to have been piscivorous, it would make a lot of sense to include it. The next possible dinosaur is Lurdosaurus, an iguanodontian that, due to its low-hanging frame and heavy skeletal build, have led paleontologists to propose that this species was potentially semi-aquatic, behaving similarly to modern hippos, which would certainly give it a more unique locomotion in the water. This African species would certainly add some great diversity to the iguanodontian roster. Then onto a bit of a mysterious one. This is Liaoningosaurus, a small basal ankylosaurid from early Cretaceous China. This species is known from 20 juvenile specimens, with a few of their stomach contents containing the remains of fish, suggesting this animal was potentially a semi-aquatic species, almost turtle-like, swimming around and catching fish. Though recently it has been suggested that potentially the Liaoningosaurus specimens, as were all juveniles, when they died, may have drowned instead, potentially being casualties of a flood that swept them from their nests or from their mother. The fish in their stomachs may have been fish that went to feed on the drowned bodies but became trapped while feeding and drowned as well. It's an odd animal with still a lot of mystery surrounding it, but it would be an interesting species to include with its semi-aquatic lifestyle. Now we get on to some non-dinosaurs, specifically animals that would make sense for this DLC, and we will start with the crocodiles. These four species, the Deinosuchus, Sarcosuchus, Pterosaurs, and Caprosuchus, are all fan favourites, and all fit the theme of this pack better than any dinosaur. But whether we'll be getting a crocodile is not fully known, as both Frontier and the creators that they've shared all three species identities with are being rather cryptic. And this could potentially be something that works in the favour of us getting a crocodile in this pack, as them shrouding the remaining animals in mystery and labelling them as dinosaurs is all possibly supposed to mislead us and hide a crocodile from us until it's revealed. But I could be reading too much into it, that is very possible. Another group of animals that I would consider is pterosaurs, as Pterodostro in particular, which was found in Brazil living at the same time as Irritator, evolved bristle-like teeth which may have been used to sieve crustaceans and other small organisms from the water, much like modern flamingos and baleen whales do. Prehistoric amphibians are also a group of animals that I would certainly like to see, as it's uncharted waters for the game, and we have seen a monstrosity of what's supposed to be a prehistoric amphibian in Jurassic World Rebirth. But there are a few notable species that I personally would love to see implemented. The first being the Coolosuchus, a 3-meter long giant that many would recognise from Morku dinosaurs, and is certainly the most popular of the Mesozoic amphibians. It would also add some Australian diversity, as this species is from Australia. But there were also giant amphibians living much earlier, with the Permian Prionosuchus being very crocodile-like in form. With estimates placing it at almost 9 meters long, it would have been truly colossal and making it one of the largest freshwater predators of all time, alongside the giant crocodiliforms. The last group of non-dinosaurs I'll be considering are the great serpents. Species like Titanoboa, Vasuki, and Gigantophus are all gargantuan snakes that would make a pretty interesting addition to the roster. And all three of these species spent extended periods of their life in water, as their great size would have been a bit of a hindrance on land, and so in water they would have been more advantageous. Titanoboa, though, is now thought to be piscivorous, and so might fit this pack better, and would very much fit with feeding on fish in the deep water. Vasuki and Gigantophus, on the other hand, were more flesh eaters, and would fit the game more for those who want a hypercarnivorous snake. But all three of these species would take a hell of a long time to get working properly, as animating a snake is not easy by any means. So I think this is probably the least likely of the animals for this pack, but would certainly make fine additions if they were to be considered and even included. But let me know what you think of the Irritator, the new scenery pieces as well that are arriving that are based around bayous and swampland buildings, and what you think the two remaining species for the Wetlands pack will be. Leave those thoughts down in the comments, and I'll catch you all in the next one.